You know how it is, man. Stay consistent and put the content out. And don't look back. Hello, viewers. Mornings. Another beautiful day. Yep. Hope your five senses work, health, and strength is good. Or excellent. But, you know, got to take care of you Steam Deck fans and you Linux gamers, you know. Yeah, stay consistent. Anyway. Got to bring me a little eggnog here. Alright, now, let's get down to business here. See, I just hit you with the news about Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, right? Alright. Now it's time for Proton again, and you're like, huh? Proton? Oh, Proton again? Yeah. I told you. Updates come in any given hour, any given day. They just show up. And that's why you need that 2 terabytes of storage in the Steam Deck. Remember? Alright. Yeah. I got you guys covered up. Alright, you little Steam Deck nerds. Here's what I got for you. It says here, what's up, Phoronix? It says here, VKD3D Proton 2.14 release with new features for D3D12 on Vulkan. The tribunal has spoken. Anyway, it says here, Hans Christian Arntzen with Valve just released VKD3D Proton 2.14 as the newest version of the direct 3D12 implementation built atop the Vulkan API for Valve Steam Play Proton. VKD3D Proton 2.14 brings in new features such as DXGI frame status, global frames, rear limiter, support for planar video formats. D2D depth bias is now correctly handled on AMD. A new command interop interface that allows DXVK and NavPi to implement DLSS3 frame generation and support for various new Vulkan extension. It says VKD3D Proton 2.14 brings some performance optimizations to such as reducing video RAM bloats for some RDNA 2, RDNA 3 AMD GPUs, improve CPU overhead in some games, and various other optimization. You know we're talking about the Steam Deck, right? Alright, okay. Just checking. Now, let's see here. What did they say on GitHub? See what we're talking about here. Let's see here. It says version 2.14. It says rolls up the usual collection of new features, performance improvement, bug fixes, copious amount of game workaround, just in time for the holidays. Features: implement DXGI frame status exposed by DXVK, implement a global frame rate limiter, and then it says see VKD3D frame rate or DXVK frame rate. Also improve behavior presentation and swap intervals, since we use frame limiters instead of duplicated presence now. Also allow support for full screen frame rate target DXGI, which normally would imply a mode change. Implement support for planar video formats such as NV12. Implement D224 depth bias correct now on AMD when VK extension depth bias control is supported. Expose a new command interop interface that allows e.g. DXVK NavPi to implement DLSS3 frame generation. Use VK KHR compute shader derivative when available. Use VK extension device generated command when available. Expose executed direct tier 1.1. Implement GPU uploads heap from the latest Agility SDK. Allow explicit control over rebar instead of heuristic base hacks in games that uses new API. Implement ID3D destruction notifier. Fix some particular games that accept this to be supported. Then it says performance. Reduce some video RAM bloats. RDNA 2 and RDNA 3 VK Mesa image alignment control expose. Improve CPU overhead for games that queries swap chains formats. Supports over and over. Remove heuristic and preferred 2 frames of latency depends on buff count. The default DXGI is 3, and using 2 caused some performance issue in various games with GPU starvation, especially on deck. VKD3D swap chain latency frames is still available as an override for force a tighter default. Rewrite queue submission logic to deal better with difficult submissions such as FSR 3.1 frame generation on implementation with only graphics queue. VKD3D Proton will now attempt to do basic software scheduling of GPU work. This may regress GPU performance in some other cases. And VKD3D _config equal no staggered limit is a way to disable this code path. One particular big improvement is FF16 on RAD-V with FSR3 frame generation with almost double performance in some cases. We're still awaiting a proper kernel level fix for this problem to be fully resolved. Rewrite queue submission logic to use fewer dummy/wait signal submissions. Work around pathological CPU overhead in AMD GPU taking 20 minutes to submit work in some cases. Rewrite queue submission logic for update to be more efficient. Yeah, update, folks. Now, let's get almost done here. It says now fixes and workaround. Rework various multiple sampling queues to do more spec correct. Work around bug MSAA behavior in World of Warcraft. Work around buggy/questionable use of D3D12 pipeline libraries in FF16. Always use native 16-bit integers for min 16 int fixes. So real world bugs where shaders expect min 16 int is always implemented as 16-bit. Work around game bugs leading to GPU hang in Dragon Age Veilguard on RAD-V. Always emit proper floating points environment mode in DXBC shaders. Fix glitch eyes in Dragon Age Veilguard on NV. Fix potential use after free bugs for some sparse resource update cases. Correct validate when application attempts to allocate to a larger descriptor heap. Fix Stalker 2 entering into undefined behavior. And then it says a lot of misc fixes in DXIL spur via as usual. Work around broken AMD GPU 0 video RAM behavior on 6.10 plus kernels. Fix random extreme glitchiness in Helldiver 2 on AMDs. Work around NV issues which lead to GPU hang when loading a save file in Star Wars Outlaw. Fix copying between B, C greater than less than RGBA image in some cases. Add workaround for game bugs in the first descent which leads to broken cube map reflection in some cases. Work around Skull and Bones crashing on startup on NV GPUs disabling reflex support. Work around Hunt Showdown missing precise qualifier on vertex shaders leading to glitch rendering. Work around poor CPU performance in Red Dead Redemption. Yeah, updates, and here's the last of it. It says here misc and debugs. Add support for instruction _QA checks for debug allowed to be notified when NANS and NFS are generated in shaders for internal QA use. Add fine-grained control for QA behavior on per shader basis for narrowing down issues. Remove a bunch of old and obsolete workaround for NV drivers. New cutoff is 535 series. Bump expose SDK version to 614 to match the latest stable agility SDK. Add an option code path to support DXBC via the official Dixel Conv library. This code is not enabled in release builds and is currently only intended as a path to take advantage of QA instrumentation of DXBC shaders. And that is the end of that. Then you have the VKD3D 2.14.tar.zst source code zip, source code tar.gz. So you Proton, you Steam, you Linux users, you're good. Told you, updates come in any given hour, any given day. They just show up. Yeah. All right, now we got 5 commenters from the community here. Let's see what they're talking about here. Fireman said this: little typo, valve J UST, and then Gel said this: how come Proton comes bundled with VKD3D and Wine and VKD3D Proton? And then Shivi said this: to use whichever one works better for any given game. Proton use Wine D3D equal 1% command, or look into Valve game path profile and Wine D3D. Want to know how I know? You didn't fully read the README. Proton uses Wine D3D equal 1% command. It's actually example command used to show us how to configure Proton. Shivi knows stuff. And then who was this? Ping said this. Penguin said it. Penguin PC said this. Let's see what he got here. What he got? Did he comment? He shows some in my casework with Mesa 25 and Wine 9.2. Anyway, and then who is this? Let's see. Who's this? Breyer said this. He says upstream VKD3D. He says upstream to answer the question that who is this? To answer Skeevy and who is this? Who's in Gel? He said this. He says upstream VKD3D pretty much doesn't run any game. Proton uses it only for HLSL compiler parts, which VKD3D Proton doesn't implement at all. See, this is why you read the comments, because these users, they can explain things for you because of their experience with using Linux. Oh yeah. So that does it. So for far as the article goes, so you Linux gamers, you're good, and you Orange Pi and Steam Deck users, you're good. So that should hold you for now. So yeah. Whatever updates come out, I'll let you know about it. So I'll make a video out of it. So, and I always read the comments, because you know these users, you know, they've been using Linux for years, you know, and they just share their insights and input, you know, on things, you know. So you see how they be thinking, you know. So yeah. But other than that, you guys are good though. News, deals, games, update, the usual. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Nice talking to you people again. Chris, still Star Wars, Star Trek thing. Boring, Dark Side. Go on. Peace.